Hi, I'm Jennifer Carter, and thank you for joining me on a podcast for parents, teachers, and administrators. Today's conversation should be a good one, and I'm sure it's something on your mind. So let's get to it. All right, so thank you so much for joining me today, Tina. I'm just going to ask you to tell us a little bit about you and about your organization.
Oh, good morning. It's great talking to you today. I'm Tina Gauthier. To tell you a little bit about myself, I've been teaching in San Bernardino for 25 years now. I also volunteer in the prison system because there's people there can use some of the information as well. Because my background is in higher education. I used to work outreach for Cal State Fullerton many moons ago, and I ran a mentoring program, Black male mentoring program for LA Southwest College. Look, it's been so long, I couldn't remember the name of the college. That's bad. Okay. But this was a while ago. So before I started working in education K through 6, these are the things I did. Because I still have that knowledge base, I now like to still use that for other individuals who can find it helpful. So that's why I volunteer in the prison system as well as in juvenile hall. But I also run a nonprofit, Julia's Learning Foundation. And what we do is we work with high school students to help them with access into college, as well as we stay with them. So instead of like a lot of programs that will help you get into college, which is great. I commend them for that because we all need the information to help us get to the next step in life. But what I really wanted to do was stay with them throughout the experience because, once you get in that door, sometimes it is so difficult to know what to do, how to keep up with things, how to budget the money you do have so you can afford to keep going through the college experience. A lot of times you weren't like giving the tips that it would take to, what are good study habits? Right. What should I expect from each college teacher? What will help me keep up with my schedule? Those kind of things we want to provide to them. So we have these mentors that once the mentor is assigned to you, that mentor stays with you through the entire experience. So they may start with you while you're a junior in high school, but they will stay with you until you graduate college. And they use their expertise that they have as well as the information that we have from our college advisors. We have financial aid advisors. Those people are with you. They help you. So it's kind of a village walking with you through a new experience because, that adulting thing.
I'm still trying to figure it out.
It is so hard. I mean, you have children. When you talk to these children and they start to tell you about their true feelings about graduating from high school, just that unknown is terrifying. Yeah. And I remember it just for myself because you keep going, I don't know if I want to leave this high school because I know this place, this is safe. I got to go be responsible now.
Exactly. And you know what? Yeah. There's a couple of things that you said that really, I think really resonate and really make me go back to my days in college because my parents, my mom and dad, they went to my mom was a receptionist, so they sent her to secretarial school, just so that she could type better and file better. And then my dad took just, I think, 1 or 2 classes at the community college level. But like you said, I went away to college, and my college looks like, when you dream about what colleges look like, on a hill with a big brick building. That's what my college looked like, which was a far cry from obviously my neighborhood. And so you get into those situations and it's so different. And then you look around, you're like, no one's going to tell me to go to bed or clean my room. No one's going to help me navigate my social systems and social relationships. No one's going to monitor what I do with my teacher. So if I'm in class and I fall asleep, the teachers often are like, see you tomorrow, and there's no ramifications. And how do you then hold yourself accountable? So I think what you're talking about in terms of people who don't have that knowledge, who can't help coach you through, is so crucial. And interestingly, and you can tell me like the demographics of your particular organization, but I think this is a problem for anybody who hasn't gone to college. It's not a Black problem or a Latino problem or a white problem or a rich or poor. If you don't have someone in direct contact that has a firsthand experience, let me say a firsthand successful experience in college, it's super hard, So what are the demographics of your group? And then, do you see any of that stuff kind of come out and, bear itself?
What you said is exactly why we do what we do for the groups that we help. We don't focus on just you're the first individual to go to college in your family or your household, because you may still not have information that would help you. We don't just focus on you're from a certain ethnic background. Our thing is we're helping anyone who you need the resources, and you realize that if you had the resources, you could do better for yourself.
Right.
That if I just need that running start, I need someone that's going to be there, guide me through, because that's what it is. It's guidance. I need someone to guide me through it because it's new to me. I haven't done it before. I don't know how to pick a college. I'm not even sure what I want to do. And I don't know how to research these things.
Mm-hmm.
And, a lot of times I commend the high schools that give some resources and try to help in those areas.
Mm-hmm.
But after you take the aptitude test and they tell you, oh, well, you should be a nurse. You're looking going, because this was my experience. They told me to be a nurse. And I'm thinking, I hate sick people. I don't want to be and so that was the end of my experience. That was the end of my help in high school. Was you
said, oh well.
I'm like, no, okay. And then so it made it so that I didn't know a lot, and I feel like had I known, oh my goodness, the things I could have done, I did not know how to apply. I was doing everything by guess and check. No one really helped me when it came to applying for college. No one talked to me about a major. Although I work in education, my background is in accounting. That is what my bachelor's degree is. And why is that? I liked numbers, and I had no clue what I was doing. I really like numbers. I love math. Math is like puzzles to me.
Yeah.
I mean, teaching math is so exciting for me because I like that.
Yeah.
But I'm tell you something I didn't like. I do not like what accountants have to do day in, day out. I don't want to keep your books. I want to balance my own checkbook. So I really
fair enough. So you're certainly not going to seek it out.
I'm not going to. No, I'm like, I don't want do this. And it was so interesting. I knew I didn't want to do this as a lifetime career. Knew it, but I didn't know what else to do because I didn't have a lot of information on careers. And so that, that's that whole thing. I just wish, and our mentors, we sit and we have our little powwows and talk about this all the time because we wish certain people that knew things had shared with us. So you need to know more about careers. You need to know more about what different colleges have to offer. I honestly couldn't have told you anything about one college from the next. I was in Detroit. You had Wayne State. Yeah. You had Michigan State. You had University of Michigan. That was the end of it. No one really even talked about community college, and they really weren't as accessible. You know how here in California, you can access a community college in every single city. You can find a school to go to.
Right.
It's when you go to the Midwest, it's not like that. It's not like that. Very few people end up going on to higher education, especially when there's no one to guide you to it. So what they put us through was trade school. Mm-hmm. Every single person in high school, if they didn't decide to track you as a college student, they put you on the trade school track. So I ended up in electrical engineering. I was going to trade school. I graduated third in my class in high school. Why do you have me over at the trade school? Why aren't you gearing me for a college experience? Why aren't you talking to me about college? Why aren't you telling me about other careers? Don't just go, oh, well, and that was that. I was good at math. So they went, you're good at math. Here's a couple of trades you should look at. Well, why? And look, I don't want to be an electrician. I figured that out too, because every time you learn something, something changed. And I was like, oh, I don't want to do this. I don't even like this. So I just want to be able to open up more opportunities to people, because you're empowered when you know more. You can make better decisions for yourself when you know more. You can actually finish college when you know how to even find the money to go. Because that's a big thing. Think about the number of students who have all this debt. I actually know people who have college debt who never finished college.
Yeah.
They're paying student loans and never finish. But they will also tell you this: they didn't know how to seek out other funds. And I mean, I have nothing against student loans if one thing you're able to finish the degree, because if you can't finish it, I don't want that extra debt. If that debt stays low enough that it's not, strangling you month to month trying to pay it when you finish school. Sometimes, that was the best thing for you to do at that present point in time for you. So I don't have anything against it, but there's so much money out here that's going unclaimed, because I'm aware of so many different scholarships where people are telling me they'll have no one apply. How you have no one applying? But it happens. You'll have people that apply, but they're not actually, they don't fit the
criteria.
Fit the criteria for what you're putting your scholarship out for. Now, interesting enough, because I know a woman who's was a music major. She's a grown woman now. But she applied for scholarships that had nothing to do with her career. And she said she actually got a few of them. And that was what they stated. They said, you wrote your essay so well. And they really didn't have anybody apply. They just gave her the money. So she said she got a few $1,000s that way on a few different scholarships. And I'm like, this is amazing. But also that what I've found with some students, they've explained to me why they don't apply for scholarships. They don't feel like they write well. And so we can help you with that as well. We can help you structure your essay. Most of the time, all the essays are the same. They have about 8 to 10 standard essays that are always asked.
So what would you, give me a couple of examples of standard essay questions.
Hey there. If you've gotten this far into the episode, chances are that you really like what you're listening. I'm going to ask you to press pause and share this particular episode with 5 people that you think would really enjoy listening to it. I'm also going to ask that you subscribe to our podcast so that you don't miss an episode. Thank you so much for listening, and now let's get back to the conversation.
Standard essay question. What major are you going into, and why did you pick it? if you had the opportunity to change something in society, what would it be, and how would you change it? I love this one because it's a good one to me because it makes other people think. But they'll ask you, who do you admire most and why? So you'll have standard questions that are pretty much asked for most of these scholarships. I mean, you'll get other ones too. Like they have one for the zombie apocalypse where you get to write about how would you survive that. I kid you not, because people put out.
I think I'm a little behind the times. That seems
But
weird.
People put out scholarships. There'll be people, they have money that they want to give to help someone else. And that's how they decided that they're doing something and they say, I want to help someone. Right. So I have some money that I can provide to help them further themselves. I want to help them get through school. So I'll create a scholarship because anybody can create a scholarship. Mm-hmm. I'll create a scholarship and it'll be on certain things. Like I like the one Duct Tape does. Duct Tape does a scholarship where you actually make your prom dress and tuxedo out of duct tape. You send them pictures and there's a voting done online for the best dress or the best tuxedo, and they give you money that way. And then a lot of organizations have now turned towards having you make little memes, and they're always so cute, little memes that they can use for their advertising, as well as now making little short videos. Mm. So even if you don't want to write, there's ways, there's other scholarships out here that don't require you to write. Mm. But when it comes to writing an essay, if you know the structure for writing an essay and how to answer a question, I assure you, you can apply for pretty much any scholarship out here. Mm. And all of them do not require you to have a 4.0 or 3.5 GPA average. That's not a requirement for a lot of them. A lot of them don't even ask about your GPA.
Is there a database of scholarships that you use that's pretty reliable?
I normally tell students to sign up on scholarship.com and on FastWeb. And I tell you this for a reason. On those particular sites, once you sign up, they send you scholarships that fit the criteria for your background, your hobby, what your major is, the things you like, because now they have that information. So monthly, they'll send you out a list of scholarships that fit you. So you qualify for them without having to do a search. And I make it a habit for our organization to put up, during the week, we put up at least 3 on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, we try to make them general, scholarships that anyone could apply for. So we try to look for the general ones that it doesn't matter what your background is. It doesn't matter, where you are education-wise, because there's scholarships out here that are for returning students. You could have been out of education for 10, 20 years and decide you want to go back. There's scholarships out here for you for that. But if you sign up on something like scholarship.com or FastWeb and you put those things in, they will gear what they send out to you to fit your needs. So then you can't go, well, I don't know how to find a scholarship. And I can honestly tell you the easiest thing to do, even for the people who go, well, I don't want to sign up because I don't want to give them my information. So that's why I always tell people just go look. And as a student, the advice I give students is to create a spreadsheet for yourself. So as you start to look, and so as you find the scholarships, you go ahead and list name of the scholarship, what the qualifications are, and when the scholarship opens and when the deadline is and how much they're offering. Now, one thing I always tell students they must pay attention to is any place you're applying for a scholarship, look at the organization and what their mission is, what their values are, what it is they're focused on. These are going to be important things that you want to try to add into your essay, and because that's what they're looking for. Mm. So as you rewrite the essay for each of these organizations, pay attention to who your audience is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
So, yeah. But this really is so much money out there. It's so easy to end up going for free. I work with a lot of students who, I'll just call it bankroll their education because they took the time to actually just apply for these scholarships. Now, honestly, once you fill out the FAFSA, sometimes depending on your family's financial situation, a lot of money may already be covered for you. There's grants out here that I've noticed in certain communities. We don't always know this because if if your family is at a lower socioeconomic level, a lot of times you can go to school for free. Mm. But who told you?
Mm. This is true.
And because I've never seen that advertised in those communities. And then what happens is I'll have these students who'll tell me, well, and I've heard it from kids, tell me things about, I can't go to college because my family can't afford it. And that's that part where I said, we really got to get the information out there that no, you should fill out the federal financial aid form and just see how much will they give you for school. You don't have, a lot of times you don't have to even worry yourself with this. They'll fund your education. They'll fund the book. But if you don't apply, you don't know. But people won't apply because they think that that's not something, that's not something available for my family because no one told us.
Now, how do we, you and I, because, I have this platform, you have your foundation, all of this is fantastic information, but you and I both encounter the information gap. I get teachers that come to my center who have literally have BAs and student loan debt and say they want to be teachers, but because they didn't specifically say, I want to be an elementary school teacher, they don't have their credential, they don't have the right classes. And so they work in our program in our center. They're very lucky at Oak Tree. I mean, I try to be very supportive in helping teachers go to college. We adjust their schedules. Whenever there's something free, I throw it at them. But how do we get this information out more broadly? What can we do, you and me and the people who are listening to make sure that other people realize that the money part shouldn't be a hindrance to being able to go to college? Any ideas on what we can do to help people know more about these programs and scholarships that you're talking about?
So that's that thing that I would like to see more people just do. So here is what's happening. You have the information, and I commend you for the way you're helping your employees be able to further themselves. You have the information. Notice how you're giving it out. If you know it, you're telling people, you're offering the information. The thing is, we got to start as a community. we got to really be the village for each other. You know something, tell the next person. You have to share it, because with the information locked in your head, it does no one any good. So if you hear about a program going on, because a lot of times on things like Eventbrite, they'll have a list of programs going on that are free, that are talking about scholarships or talking about how to apply for college, or even information for things going on in your community that could help you. But once you know about it, you got to tell the next person. And you know, one of those things I tell people, look, we're all on social media, some form. Every single person is on some platform, but I always try to encourage everyone. Our mentors automatically do it because they came to us because they wanted to do it.
Right.
But everyone in my circle, because you know how like minds gravitate, like, you know, I adore you. You know how I was telling people about, you know, Oak Tree's open. You know, I was sharing it with all the teachers so they could share it with all their parents, because parents were frustrated when the pandemic hit, and they're going, I don't have anywhere for my child to be. I got to be at work. So being able to bring that information, man, it is so good. So now, if we all start doing that, so I'll always, if I know something, I'll tap into the next person and I'll share it. So social media, share it there. Your friends, share it with them. But that like-minded group that's willing to keep sharing the information, we can all do well if we all just make that share. Oh, I know about this. They'll do this and they'll help you with such and such. So if you can use that, go ahead. If you can't, let me send you the information. You can pass it on to the next person. So we got to keep that communication line going like that. You know, pretty much you can't stand on the soapbox anymore and just yell in the street, but you can with social media. You can with just pass it on to each other. So, oh man, I love it, because when you get it to the right people, man, the way they're so excited about, that helps so much. Thank you so much for letting me know about it. If you hadn't told me, I wouldn't have been able to do this for myself. I wouldn't have had these opportunities. I love when students come and tell me, man, I was on the verge of dropping out until your mentor helped me with the scholarships that I needed, and I can stay in school, or I couldn't. We've had students where they know what they want to do, but sometimes you mess up in school.
Of course.
Stuff happens. You really
listen, if you looked at my transcript, you would have no idea. It is not a reflection of my intelligence. However, it is a reflection of my priorities in college. And there's a direct link, as graduation got closer. So yeah, you do, because you're immature when you go off to college,
Yeah, but because we all have a learning curve.
Yes.
We're not born ready to run.
No.
So we'll have the students who they kind of know what they want to major in, but they've made that issue for themselves that my GPA is too low.
Right.
I'm going to have to change my major. Well, you can if you really want to, but think that out. We've worked with students where we've been able to get them into the major they wanted. What we do a lot of is teaching you to advocate for yourself, because, when we were taking SATs and ACTs, that score can help sometimes. Also, you can plead to the college you want to attend. We've done that with students, taught them to make that plea. Yeah, this is my GPA. This is my scores on the SAT. But let me write to you and talk to someone at your school. Talk to an admissions counselor and explain to them, like you just said, this is not a reflection of who I am now.
Right, right.
So you explain why this occurred this way. your growth now that changed you and how you plan on proceeding. We were actually able to help some students get into the schools they wanted to, who did not have the GPA for the majors they wanted. But we teach you to do it for yourself.
But that is and that last piece, the teaching them to do it for themselves, because really, if we're totally honest, a lot of what you learn in college, you can learn in other places. And especially now, you can Google everything. But it's that independence. It's that culminating experience of not just the learning, but then how do you apply it to real life? How does it help you refine what you want to do? Like, that's the point of college. And it sounds like in your mentoring process, you're priming them for that experience. So you're like, here's all the knowledge in the world, but then here's how you transfer it and then turn it into something that's really beneficial, which is exactly what college is. You really tap in to that knowledge that people can use. And that's so helpful. Especially now, because the economy, the Dow looks great. I feel like that's the temperature for how rich people are doing. I personally know that, like the average day-to-day living, a lot of people are really struggling, and adding more education would be helpful, but they don't know how. And so again, it's helping that knowledge gap for them.
You got to balance it out. What is your career? How much are they going to pay you, especially starting off when you're at the lowest end of your pay? Can you really afford this debt?
Yes.
And that's the thing, because I would never tell anyone quit school because you don't have the funds. I would definitely go, oh, well, you got to figure out how to make this loan work. But also because the money is out here.
Again, that knowledge gap, people don't know that you can make that assessment. If you want to be a social worker and you get $30,000 worth of debt, you're going to be able to manage that. If you want to be an engineer and you get $100,000 worth of debt, you'll be able to manage that. But you don't want to necessarily be a social worker with $100,000 worth of debt. And it's sort of like helping them understand, when you pick a career, it's holistically something you love to do, but then something that will help support your lifestyle as well. But again, you're 17, 18 years old. You don't realize how that all works and how it all plays in together. And I feel like kids have been in tiny high school and then they go to this big college system and they're trying to navigate. It's not that it's impossible, but people like you and your mentors just are like a guide through that busy network. And I think, that's sort of the headline of this conversation is, if you've never been to college, whether you're a kid or an adult, identify a guide who's been through it to help you navigate it, because it is a Leviathan, and it is a labyrinth with all these nooks and crannies. And it's like you said, when people have folks like you who have knowledge, then it makes it easier to navigate the whole thing,
Yeah. That's what we got to help each other. See, that's it. That's it.
Well, again, I like to keep my eye on the clock and make sure I'm mindful of the time. So I just want to thank you so much for the information you shared. We usually do show notes, and your show notes are going to be like this long with all the list of things and resources that people can tap into. If people want to find more about your information or find out more about your particular organization, what's the best place for them to find you?
Well, we do have a website, juliaslearningfoundation.org. So you can reach out to us at the website. We are on social media as Julia's Learning on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. You can always call the office. They also have the ability to just go to beamentor.com, but then it's /Julia's, if they want to just go ahead and sign up for assistance. But if you call the phone number, if you reach out to us, we'll walk you through how to do it if you need some help.
Well, again, thank you so much for recording with me. I always love talking to you.
So that's our conversation for today. I hope you found some information that was interesting or a perspective that you hadn't thought of. If you like what you heard, or even if you have some feedback, put a comment in our comment section. Be sure to like our page and make sure that you subscribe so that you can hear when the next video comes out. Thanks so much again for joining us.